curse. You can curse.
I apologize, but
No apologize.
There's no way he get demolished. But for what he's doing, as long as they keep getting YouTubers and
Boxing pros just went off at Jake Paul after he stopped the Mike Tyson fight last minute. This matchup has been the talk of the town, but it has taken a shocking plot twist as Jake just stopped a fight with the boxing legend, and the boxing experts are not holding back. From brutal verbal smackdowns to savage tweets, boxing experts are having a field day, roasting Jake Paul harder than a burnt marshmallow. Buckle up because you're going to want to stick around as we dive deep into this hilarious mess. Let's rewind for a second. When Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson was initially announced in March, the whole fight world went ballistic. On one side, we had Jake, a YouTuber who grew up on the Disney Channel, and on the other, a boxing legend, Iron Mike, with fists that could launch a rocket. Most folks thought it was a good old joke. But nope, Jake was as serious as a heart attack. Boxing experts, though, they were like, bruh, on a whole new level.
One thing he doesn't want to do is fight Mike.
No.
Yeah, he wants to fight Mike, I think.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't give a if he's 55. That's still Mike Tyson.
Mike's in good shape, too.
Oh, my God.
Mike trains every day.
The boxing world had a mixed bag of reactions on this one. Some experts, like the UFC commentator Joe Rogan, were totally against it and advised Paul to give this bout second thoughts, while others gave Paul credit for finally stepping in the ring with a seasoned boxer for the toughest fight of his career. Both Iron Mike and the Problem Child started firing shots at each other to hype up their upcoming fight, and as strange as it sounds, this matchup really started growing on us. Well, it's all in the past now because this fight isn't seeing the light of day anymore, at least not anytime soon. Now, this fight's postponement didn't really come as a shock to boxing fans. Let's be honest, didn't we all see this coming? Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson has been in jeopardy ever since Mike had a recent health hiccup when his ulcer flared up during his cross-country fight from Miami to Los Angeles. The athlete assured fans that he was okay, but that was all false hope. Now, this health issue was enough to make this bout fall in deep waters, but Jake's recent words really sealed the deal on this one. The YouTuber turned boxer escaped this dangerous matchup and then tried putting Mike's health under the bus for it. Hey Jakey, we all know your prayers for an escape plan really got answered with this one. But it didn't go unnoticed by boxing pros, and they're putting him on a blast.
And I did that the best. You're distinctly average, but that is a compliment. So, but none of your...
Boxing promoter Eddie Hearn isn't one to shy away from sharing his honest opinions or just simply attacking Jake Paul. Yeah, you can really see that the Brit has got a knack for throwing verbal jabs at the YouTuber turned boxer. You think you can box Jake because that resume doesn't really speak volumes. Get this. Jake has an impressive record of 9-1-0, but his choice of opponents remains a controversial take. It all started when Jake stepped into the ring with Ali Ihsan Gibb for his pro boxing debut in 2020. His choice of opponent only got worse from there. Fans have noticed a common pattern in almost all of Jake's rivals in the rings. They're all either old and dusty MMA stars and NBA players or YouTubers and influencers. The most skilled boxer he's stepped into the ring yet has been Tommy Fury, and let's not forget that Jake was handed his first loss that night. So it's safe to say he hasn't really touched the cream of the crop. Experts were throwing shade like, Jake, you think beating up YouTubers prepares you for Iron Mike? Bless your cotton socks?
I'm gonna fight Mike Tyson on that phone. Yeah.
Would you fight Mike Tyson? There's no amount of money on the planet that can convince me to fight Mike Tyson. Prime Tyson would have ripped me apart in a boxing match. I'm not a boxer. Perhaps if I was a boxer and I was heavier, maybe I can make a bunch of stories. The truth is I'm a kickboxer and it's his rule set and he was Mike Tyson. He would have beaten me, so to beat him when he's past his prime just feels dishonorable and I'd feel dirty for doing that.
Let's be real, Mike Tyson is 58 now. So we've got ourselves a man pushing his 60s fighting a 27-year-old boxer in his prime. And here comes the age factor so big that you can't ignore it even if you want to. Don't get me wrong, sure Mike's still ripped, but Father Time's undefeated, you know. Jake challenging a 58-year-old Iron Mike is a dirty move for the YouTuber turned boxer. You can't really step into the ring with an athlete more than 30 years after their prime and expect them to pose the same challenge they did back in the day. I really don't know what Jake was expecting with this one, but fight pros are calling him out. Jake, honey, respect your elders, especially elders who can knock your lights out with one punch, they say.
But the man is a fake, okay? Do not buy the wolf tickets.
They're selling y'all wolf tickets, people. You're eating them right up.
Do not accept the bullshit. This was a hand-picked, cherry-picked opponent for Jake Paul to beat up once again.
Take it from Michael Bisping, who might just be the biggest Jake Paul hater out there. Bisping has labeled Paul as a fraud and a con man who handpicks his opponents to continue this orchestrated charade of him knocking people out cold in the ring. Come on, all his fights with Ben Askren, Tyson Woodley, and Anderson Silva had knockouts that were too good to be true. And that can only mean one thing: Jake's pretty much an industry plant. Fans also hopped on the bandwagon to share their 2 cents on this matchup, and these reactions are as hilarious as they can get. Get ready to laugh your wits off. One user wrote on X, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson? More like David versus Goliath, except David actually had a chance. While another added, I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Tyson used Jake Paul's head as a jump rope for his next training session. A third user couldn't hold back either and posted the most savage tweet of all time. The only thing getting knocked out faster than Jake Paul in the ring is his career. It really rubbed the boxing world the wrong way when Jake was out there trashing Mike Tyson in his interviews. Yeah, trash talk to build up hype for the fight makes sense, but there's a thin line between trash talk and straight-up disrespect. Jake seems to always cross this one. Well, it's all up in the air now. Jake promised to deliver the fight of his career on July 20th. But with Mike out of the way, there's an empty spot for an opponent, and Jake sure as hell filled this one in a jiffy. Unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you know that the problem child is set to step into the ring with Mike Perry on July 20th in Tampa, Florida. So who's this Mike Perry dude? Well, if you haven't been up to speed, let me fill you up with everything you need to know about him. You might know Platinum Perry from dominating in the UFC cage. He's got a killer record there, but that's not all. This dude's a bare-knuckle beast, undefeated with 5 wins and some seriously brutal knockouts. Now, Perry might be a knockout artist in bare knuckle, but how about pro boxing? Well, he's only had 1 fight so far, and it wasn't a win. But hey, everyone starts somewhere, right? The athlete was tested up against Kenneth McNeil, but he's not going to let this loss dictate his upcoming fight. Let's be real. Everyone was hyped for Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. That comeback fight would have been legendary. But hear me out. Mike Perry's no slouch. He's a legit fighter with knockout power, and that's a recipe for an entertaining fight night. Jake's been treating Perry like an appetizer before he gets the chance to fight Tyson in the ring for the biggest fight of his career. Now, if he thinks this upcoming fight with Perry will be like child's play, he needs to think again.
Oh, we're in the Walmart parking lot. First ever.
The big question remains, is Jake even prepared for this upcoming challenge in the ring? Hear me out, he's not putting in the work. You have to give it your all when you're gearing up to fight a tough opponent. That's obvious, no? You can't just step into the ring and wing it on fight night when it's Mike Perry on the other side. Instead of hitting the gym day and night, Jake's out there promoting his body spray brand and pranking people at Walmart.
Confused, brother. Let me holler at you.
I'm good.
What the?
Things aren't going well here.
Yeah, I'm starting to agree.
Jake Paul or Mike Tyson?
That doesn't look like a boxer who's got 2 of the toughest fights of his career coming up. This is what differentiated Jake from legitimate boxers. While Jake's out there pranking people on YouTube, real athletes are training for fights. The fight world isn't wrong to hold a debate on whether Jake's even considered a real boxer. He's got no boxing background and only got into the game a couple of years ago. If Paul still dreams of stepping into the ring with Tyson, he's got to come out on top against Perry. He revealed in an interview with Michael Bisping, I'm trying to ruin that whole thing for him. See if they offer it to me after I knock Jake out and be like, hey, do you want to fight Mike Tyson on Netflix? That's the real win here if I can stop that. But I don't want it to hurt Mike's pockets either. Here's what Bisping is saying about this new matchup.
Mike Perry is a fighter. Mike Perry wasn't necessarily the best jiu-jitsu artist or had the best wrestling, but there's not a fight that Mike Perry won't take. I've spoken to Mike Perry on several occasions, and he is the epitome of a real fighter, and he's an absolute star in the bare. Jake Paul, I think he's made a tremendous mistake here because he's a real fighter. He's going to get in shape. He's not afraid to mix it up, and he's going to go right at Jake Paul.
I guess we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out. This fight is just around the corner, so the wait won't be much long. So there you go, Fight World. That's all I have for you today. What do you think about boxing pros roasting Jake Paul? Fill the comment section with your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more boxing news. See you in the next video.